Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's Thursday. What do we have today? Well, miners and Bitcoin were kind of up and down, kind of like a roller coaster ride throughout the day, but they finally finished out in the green, which was nice. Bitcoin's up at 120,000 right now as it is. So that's pretty good. We had the, what was it, the Genius Act getting passed. We also had the Clarity Act getting passed, I think, today. So those are good things here going forward for stable coins and just in general for crypto going forward. So that's great news there. We'll also take a look at a bunch of bullish news stories that we do have on Bitcoin here. And we'll take a look at where the miners might get to at Bitcoin 200,000. We'll see, right? And then we'll get into a Q&A. So it should be pretty short and sweet here. As always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice. For anyone only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin, like I said, had a roller coaster ride today throughout the day. But it finished out in the green nonetheless. So we're now looking like we're going to be 3 days in the green here, at least. So Bitcoin was up just a little bit today, up 0.5%, so half a percent point up today. We did get to a high today of approximately 120,998. We closed at 119,273, so that was pretty good there. Markets were up also. Ethereum was up nicely today as well. Miners, for the most part, were up. And then some of the Ethereum treasury companies had a mixed day today. It was looks like a lot of corrections happening here over from what we saw yesterday. We'll get into those in a second here. But we can see Bitcoin right now is at 120,261. It's up about 0.84%. Miners that I just checked here a little bit ago are actually in the positive side for the pre-market hours or the after hours numbers for them. We can see their Ethereum had another nice day. It's had a nice run up here since, the last 7 days or so. It was up another 3.85%. It's at 3,613. It still has a little ways to go to get back to its previous all-time highs here, which were at approximately $4,867. But it is having a definitely nice run up here. RSI is getting kind of hot here right now as it is. Still could go a little bit higher before it kind of corrects there maybe at that point. Miner-wise, Bitfarms was up nicely today, 3.85%. BitDeer was up just a little bit, 1.85%. Kang was actually down 2.45%. Cypher was up 2.39%. Cleanspark was up 3.26%. CORZ was actually down 3.23% on the day. Hive was up just a little bit, 0.91%. Hut 8 was down half a percentage point. IREN was up 4.27%. This one's battling. I mean, it's just trying to get above this line here, somewhere around here. There's just some resistance right there around $18 and something. We'll see if we can get above that. Mara was up a little bit, 2.73%. Riot was up 6% here as well. Wolf was up 2.1%, and then MicroStrategy was down 1%. Galaxy was up 7.38%. Coin was up another $3.15 here. Who else do we have here? Semler was up 2%. Metaplanet, no, not Metaplanet. Metaplanet is this one. Metaplanet was up just a little bit, 0.82% as well. That's bouncing off the 50 SMA. On that one, small miners, ANY was up 5.8%. Argo, for some reason, was up huge today. 35.82%. I have no idea what's going on there. DigiPower was up 7.42%. DMG was up 1.6%. Mawson was up 2.96%. CAN was down 2.44% on the day. And then Bitcoin ETFs were actually in the positive here. So that was looking good. Then Ethereum holding companies here, we had BitDigital being up just 2.04%. BTCS being up 12.33%. It was up much higher, got to $7.24 before pulling back down a little bit here. BMNR was down 6.47. Game was down 30% here. I mean, this is just wild, the action that we're seeing on this one. Had a huge spike yesterday, came back down, and then today obviously crashed back down. SBET was up down 2.62%. And right now the Bitcoin dominance is still falling down here to 61.91. So we could be seeing some outflows from Bitcoin into some of the altcoins right now. But we're still seeing a bunch of Bitcoin ETFs buying into Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that here shortly here. As far as the miners in the after hours right now, we got BitDeer being up 2.25%, Bitfarms being up 2.78%, Cango actually being down 1.35%, Cypher being up 1.25%, Cleanspark being up 2.31%, Core being up 0.75% roughly. And then we got Hive Digital being up 2.24%, Hut being up 3.89%, IREN being up another 2.94% there. Mara being up where's it going to end at? 2%, 2.25%. Riot is up, let's see here, Let that finish, 2.63%, and TeraWolf is up 2.43%. So right now, the miners are looking pretty good in the after hours. We'll see how they do tomorrow, though. Looking at Bitcoin here right now for the month of July, it's up 11.69%. So that's looking good. Bitcoin ETF inflows here. We saw a huge amount of inflows from IBIT, BlackRock yesterday. 763.9 million for a total of inflows of 799 million there yesterday. We'll see what we get today for July 17th on IBIT. We'll see that tomorrow. I'm guessing it's going to be positive as well, but we'll see. So, I mean, at least the big guys, BlackRock is still buying a lot here. So institutions or institutional investors, even big investors are buying into Bitcoin here through IBIT right now as it is. So that's great news. And then here's the good news stories that we do have here on Bitcoin right now. This is from the Bitcoin conference. They're saying 150,000 Bitcoin incoming here. This is based on the global M2 money supply as it is and how well Bitcoin is following it right now. So you can see that we are definitely going to be going up there. We're going to have probably a little correction here once we get to about 125,000. Come back down to about 120,000, potentially somewhere around there, maybe a little bit below that. And then we're going to go up, down, and then continue up onwards as the M2 supply continues to go up here. So that's great news, potentially if it continues to hold the way it is. And then just in, Semler Scientific has acquired 210 Bitcoin for 25 million. They now hold 4,846 Bitcoin worth 571.8 million. They are continuing to stack here along with other companies here. We're seeing more and more of these companies add on their Bitcoin to their treasuries here. And then just in, 140,000 Bitcoin has been accumulated by new buyers in July so far. New money is stacking fast, and it is stacking fast, which is nice to see, especially towards the end of the month here. We're stacking more here. So that's great news, right? It gets coins off the exchanges, off OTC desks, and into long-term storage. So that's great. And then just in, PAX technology to integrate Bitcoin payments into 80 million point-of-sale systems. That's fantastic news, especially if there was also a rumor that the White House is looking to not have any capital gains on crypto payments. I'm guessing it's going to be up to like maybe $600, $1,000, whatever it might be. If you buy something with crypto at that point for that amount, you don't pay capital gains on it if it went up in value for you. So that would be great there as well. Next, we have here Conveno Inc., a Japanese nail salon operator, has officially launched a Bitcoin treasury strategy and plans to purchase 400 million Japanese yen for 2.7 million worth of BTC within July. The company established a dedicated Bitcoin strategy office led by director Tayo Azuma. So, I mean, we're seeing even nail salons now get into this space and hodl Bitcoin, put it on their treasury. I mean, pretty soon you're going to see your gardener doing it as well. So that's awesome news there. Seeing these smaller companies even adopting Bitcoin treasury as well. Next here we have the U.S. House has passed major Bitcoin and crypto bills after making sure a federal CBDC ban is included. Right, big win for crypto. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning here. So it was the Genius Act and the Clarity Act that got passed through, I believe, on that one. So that's great news. I believe those should be going to the desk of the president there. He has to sign it probably within the next couple of days. We'll get that signed. And then French Parliament introduced new bill to mine Bitcoin with surplus energy. Nation states want BTC, huge. All right. How are they going to mine it, though? That's a big question there. Are they going to actually get their own ASICs and do that? Will they buy those things? How will they do it? Or will they have somebody else do it for them? Who knows, right? But nonetheless, governments are getting interested in Bitcoin as well and Bitcoin mining as well. And then next one here, Semler Scientific has acquired 210 Bitcoin for 25 million and has achieved Bitcoin yield of 30.3% year to date, now holding 4,846 Bitcoin. So again, another company that's just stacking more and more Bitcoin as time goes on here. Next here on this one, this just in as well, Vulcan Inc. has initiated a Bitcoin treasury strategy funded by 500 million stock sale. Corporate Bitcoin adoption continues to accelerate. Yeah. Like I've been telling you guys for the past couple months here, we're just seeing more and more of this stuff happening here, which is great news because we're seeing Bitcoin going up here. It's out on 20,000 right now. And then finally we got here on this one, Riot. This is the only news that we have as far as miners are concerned. Riot announces their second quarter 2025 earnings conference call. This is going to be happening on July 31st, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So they're going to be maybe they're going to be the first ones to report their Q2 results there. We'll obviously talk about it when it does happen there, but we are getting close to those. I mean, we're only roughly, 2 weeks away roughly right now. So those are coming soon here. We'll talk about it. We'll digest it. We'll look over it and see how everything else is progressing. All right. Now, let's take a look at where the miners could be possibly Bitcoin at 200,000. I've updated some figures here for these guys here as far as their June production numbers, right? A lot of these guys got to 50 exahash, Cleanspark, IREN, Mara's above 50 exahash as it is already. So what could that actually mean for us going forward here with these guys? Well, we have a couple numbers here. We have 50% profit PE of 5 and 10, right? Based on those numbers. And we also have 70% profit PE of 5 and 10 as well. So we're definitely very conservative on the numbers right now as it is. And this is where they possibly could get to going forward here. So Cypher right now is currently $6.42. If we look at them as far as where they could go in the next, when Bitcoin gets to 200,000 here, we don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but we're guessing somewhere within the next probably 6 to 9 months, I'm guessing that'll happen there. We could see them somewhere between 420, well, they're already at 642, so I'm guessing maybe on their higher end here at 843 to 1180. At that point, Core is at 1347. Core is obviously getting bought out here, so I don't think that's going to impact them that much. Hive is at $2.22 here. I'm in between basically 641 somewhere and like maybe $18 or something like that if they get any love from investors at all. BitDeer is at 1375, so I'm in between 1561 and a high of 2186 here, right? Depending on the P that you look at, we could be between 781 and 1093 or 1561 and 2186, depending how much love they get there. Riot right now is at 1333. I'm in between on the higher end at 1850 to 2590, right? So pretty good gains there. Marathon is at 1997 today. Higher end side of things, $30.85 to $43.19. So that'll at least get us a 2x here if Bitcoin goes 2x from here, more or less. Cleanspark is at $12.98. On the higher end, we have about $33.14 to about $46. So there, now we're looking at more like 4x to 3x, somewhere around there potentially, maybe, right? Time will tell on that one. And then IREN's at 1805 right now. On the higher end, I have in between 41.48 and 58.08. So definitely nice gains there as well, potentially for them. The big question is, these all numbers are based on the latest data that I have for the quarterly reported shares outstanding, right? So as we get new quarterly reports from these guys, we'll get an updated number of shares for them as well. We'll see how that will impact them because dilution does obviously draw the price of the stock down at that point. This also does not include any HODL. It does not also include any HPCI revenue that these guys are getting. This is just straight Bitcoin mining or any other business segments at all. So like somebody like BitDeer, which has also hosting and other things as well, this does not include that in any way, shape, or form, right? So if they generate great revenue from those things should help out in the in the price action, basically, in the stock at this point. Especially Bitcoin going to 200,000 is going to help nonetheless. I would think, I would imagine, but time will tell on that one. Right now, the miners are doing pretty good here, considering where we were just at the bottom of April and where they are now. They are outperforming Bitcoin, which is nice to see because that's kind of what we would expect here in a nice bull run. And we'll see if this continues going forward as well as Bitcoin does progress forward to 150,000 and then beyond that to maybe 200,000 as well. All right. So that is it. And here's all the data that I pulled in for these guys here as far as what their hash rate is. Current hash rate at 870. And then for the future one, we're looking at the 30-day average for Bitcoin hash rate being at 950 exahash. The current one on the lower end side of things, we're looking at 870. So we are kind of trying to increase that number as well, right, where things get to at that point. All right. So that is it. Spreadsheet's going to be available to Patreon members as always. Link for that is down in the description. And Patreon members also get access to our private server, Discord server, that is. And I'm going to there's going to be some good things happening, I think, for Discord as well. So you guys are participating in that. I'm going to be working on ways to provide, maybe not real time, but a couple hours delayed, maybe updates as far as company SEC filings, maybe press releases as well. That'll be showing up here possibly in the Discord server as well. So you guys will have access to like articles about them. And then I want to look at how I can possibly add articles as well for just AI, things like that, right? What's going on in those things, types of things. So we'll try and incorporate those things into our Discord server as well to make it easy to find information quickly here. So that'll be coming up as well. And that's all through AI and things like that I've been researching here recently. And there's just a lot of interesting things that we can possibly do with it. So we'll roll it out slowly. We'll see how it goes. If you guys like it, we'll keep it. If not, we'll take it out, right? So I was just trying to provide a little bit more value for you guys there so you guys can find quick information on these guys when they report it, more or less. When they report it might be delayed a couple hours, but at least it'll be there for you guys to see in there in one spot. So you'll get SEC filings, you'll get press releases, all that stuff will be in there as well. So that should be kind of exciting. That's one of the things I've been looking for a long time, is just trying to get all the data in a central place. And it's not always easy because you're looking through different sites, you're looking at different sites, different places, and it takes time. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get everything easily into one place. And I think maybe Discord might be the place to do it for us. All right. So that's going to be coming up here in the next couple of days, couple of weeks as well, as I work through this and add stuff into it. And then we'll discuss it obviously on Discord as far as what you guys want to keep and what you don't want to keep there. All right, but that's it. Let's get into Q&A here. So, I mean, right now we're not doing too bad. Bitcoin's still up 120,000. It's a far cry from where we were at the end of 2022 when Bitcoin was at like, what, 15,000 or something like that. I mean, that's outstanding performance here in the last basically 2.5 years or so. All right, let's get into Q&A. And let's see if everything pops up here and works for me. All right, that's working. The other one is not working for me for some reason. All right, well, we got issues here. I moved my little server that I have over to another location behind me, and I think I may have forgotten to turn something on. But I thought I had turned it on, though. Let me see here if I can maybe get it going here again. Bear with me for a second. Oh, where am I at here? What do I want to do? Don't want to go there. Not that. I didn't want to do that one. Bear with me just a second here really quick. Not work. There it is. Let's see. Share screen. See what's going on with that one. Okay. Cancel. Some virtual can be installed. Did quit. Okay. Cancel on that. Let's see here. So it should be running right now as it is. All right, never mind. We'll just go without it here. Won't see the Bitcoin price popping up here. But I am seeing that everything is running here right now as it is. So let me just try maybe restart it. Let's see if that'll fix it here. Oh, there it goes. Okay, finally woke up. All right, looking good there. All right, we'll leave that as is. So that's looking good. We got that working. As always, questions if you guys could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it here. I'm going to scroll up as always and work my way down, and we'll get through all of the questions and everything else as well. Let's see. Alrighty. Guy has a question here. What price you will exit Cleanspark? I'd like to get above probably like $25 when I start exiting out. That's kind of where I would like to get out, but it depends on where Bitcoin goes, right? If Bitcoin goes to 200,000 and they're still at $18 or something like that, I may start selling out at that point. So greatly depend on where Bitcoin is and where the stock price is at that point. All right, let's see. Daryl says, Riot is about to explode to the upside with news very soon on their 1.7 gigawatts of available power. I hope you're right. That'd be great for people that have been invested in Riot for a long time. Sarah Mellon is saying $50 for Cleanspark, I'm guessing there. All right, Down Under Blues. Is BitDigital still considered a Bitcoin mining stock? I would not consider it anymore. They have stated that they are going to be getting rid of their Bitcoin mining side of the business there, so I would not consider them a Bitcoin mining stock anymore. They're more now BitDigital is going to be just straight Ethereum treasury, and their other business, their HPCI data center business, is being spun out into White Fiber. That's going to be IPOing out as well here shortly. So they're no longer a Bitcoin miner, in my opinion at least. Daryl, I have officially given up on Hive. They are the little Canadian stepbrother. That's right. That's kind of one of the things that I've always said is it because they are mostly Canadian, right? They have operations in Canada and Iceland, I think, and Finland, up there in Greenland and all that, and along with Paraguay and Argentina. Does that somehow not entice investors to invest in, at least in the United States? And that could be the case, right? They don't have any operations in the United States. So we'll see how they do going forward. They are expanding their HPCI data center business. They bought a 7 megawatt site in, I believe, Ontario here. I'm going off memory. So they are going into that type of business as well. Bitcoin mining and HPC data centers. We'll see how they do though. YouTube, I'm guessing maybe this is YouTube account. Thank you, Seb. You're very welcome. Okay. Mark says we have roughly 16 million BTC available in 50,000 companies worldwide. Only 150 companies bought BTC. What if 2,000 companies buy BTC? We're not bullish enough at all. Well, yeah, I mean, there's 21 million Bitcoin ever. Not everyone in the world can have a single Bitcoin, right? Even a single Bitcoin. That's not possible. It's not feasible. Eventually, instead of talking about Bitcoin price, we're going to be talking about Satoshi price, right? Where is the Satoshi price at that point? All right. Let's see. Unsung John has a question here. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Do you still believe that Bitfarms has a good future when frustrated? Yeah, I'm frustrated too with it, as you guys are as well. The future for them is going to be dependent on if they can get an HPCI deal for their Pennsylvania sites, right? If they can do that, then it's going to be great. They are right now at like 18 or 19 exahash Bitcoin mining, maybe even less than that. We know that Argentina, I think it is, cut off their power. So that's, I think it was like 11% of their system, their network for them. So that's not helping out. We haven't heard an update on that as well. Maybe we'll get an update when they do report quarterly results. But yeah, I think the big catalyst for them is going to be getting an HPCI deal, if they can. And then that will be a bright future for them, right? When is that going to happen? I don't know. We've been waiting for a lot of these guys here over a year now to get some type of an HPCI deal from the hyperscalers. We haven't seen it yet. Will it happen? I'm optimistically positive on it might happen, but who's going to get it though? And how much are they going to get? So that's a big question there, and that's something we're going to have to unfortunately wait. All right. YT says 12.5 billion of BTC options expiration on Friday, July 25th. Max pain, 110,000 doesn't necessarily mean money markets or money makers will push the price there, but beware. Okay. That is a possibility, obviously, right? There's always a possibility there that we could get them down, but for me, 110,000 is not max pain. Going down to like, again, 70,000 or something like that, I think that would be max pain. 110,000 is just a little correction here. That's not bad. We're down 10,000. That's roughly what? 8% going down, something like that. That's not too bad. All right. Daryl says, I'm going to ride the top miners, Cleanspark, IREN, Mawson, and Riot up until the third week of September and take all my profits. Okay. Right. That might not be a bad way to play it also. We don't know where Bitcoin's going to end up later on this year. And the only thing is September typically is not a great month for us, so be careful of that. Right when we look at Bitcoin on, where is it at? No, not that one. I wanted this one. Oh, excuse me, I had to burp. Where is it? Screen. Here we go. Right, if you look at historically in the bull runs, we're in a bull run this year. 2025 is a bull run. 2021 last time was a bull run. We had a negative September. 2017 was a previous bull run. We had a negative September at that point as well. And then we go down to 2013. Another bull run that we had there that year was down again in the red here. So I'd be careful in there. I think we might have more pumps here. Historically looking at least, 2013 we saw great gains in October and November. 2017, same thing, great gains in October and November. 2021 was a little bit different. We had great gains in October, and then we were red in November here. So, and in the last 2 years, we had pretty good gains here in both those months as well. So we could have a sell-off in September a little bit, and then a pump in October and November as well. So just kind of be mindful of that. You might be giving up some gains there, but that's always up to you to decide what's best for you. And if you're up nicely, then yeah, take some profits, right? No problem with that. All right, let's go back here. All right, John Kurt says altcoins running on the Ethereum blockchain is an interesting read. Alt season will last 6 months and be a historical run. Okay, we'll have to wait and see if that plays out that way, right? At least right now, Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum and others as well. So we'll see if that happens. Daryl says Bitfarms is the other adopted Canadian stepbrother who gets no love. True, but they're having more operations here in the United States. I think right now the reason they're not getting the love, or they might be getting love, but Riot selling their shares of Bitfarms doesn't help, right? It always keeps the foot on the neck of Bitfarms there for a little bit longer. We might be until September, October before they sell out completely of the Bitfarms shares there. We'll see. And then it could possibly run. All right, Roger. Question: Bitcoin bill finally passed. Bitcoin surging to 300,000. Cleanspark at 20. What's your next move? Sell Cleanspark and go into Bitcoin, right? And I hope I would make that decision before we get to 300,000 in Bitcoin. Right? If Bitcoin gets to 200,000 and Cleanspark's only at $20, I'll probably end up selling my Bitcoin or sell a Cleanspark and move into Bitcoin or something else at that point, because they're just not running at all like I would think they would. All right, let's see here. Pete says 90% of the miners are flat to down year over year, with BTC price up almost double. Cleanspark is symbolic of what a waste of time investing in the sector is. These companies are diluted bags of crap. Don't waste your cash. Okay, that's your fair assessment there. That's fine. Yeah. You also have to consider that last year they basically had the halving event, which cut their revenue in half from one day to the next day. That's going to have an impact for them. It's going to last for a while until they rebuild or grow potentially their infrastructure to get to the point where, either they double their hash rate or Bitcoin actually goes up, right? And they're back to making what they were making last year as well. So they are at that point right now. A lot of these guys, Mara, Cleanspark, IREN, Riot to a certain extent as well. They're doing much better there. So I think in the next 6 months, it'll be interesting to see how they perform here. The encouraging news is, like I said before, from the bottom of April, the miners have outperformed Bitcoin. So that's encouraging to me to see that happening, because then it leads me to believe that going forward, they still could outperform Bitcoin here in the next 5 to 6 months or so. Let's see. Daryl says BTC 150,200 by September 22nd. That would be fantastic. If that happens, that would be fantastic. Why is Hive lagging? Again, I think it's because they don't have any operations here in the United States. Yes, they have an office in Austin or something like that, Texas, for reporting purposes, so they can say that they are domiciled in the United States for reporting purposes. Other than that, they don't have anything else, United States-wise. So I think that might be the reason there. But they do have great growth here happening this year to 25 exahash. All right. Ben says, thank you for taking the time to do these posts. You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Wes Clark says, Seb, thanks for the miner estimates with BTC at 200,000. You're very welcome there as well. Roger, last year his targets were 70 Cleanspark at 180,000 BTC FY. Yes, they were. And I got a lot of flack for gaslighting you guys, right? So I'm like, okay, I don't want to gaslight you guys. I still think we could possibly get there, but we need like FOMO happening into the miners here, right? So I'd rather be a lot more conservative with the numbers and at least get to those things and those numbers. And then if we do way beyond that, that's bonus gravy, right? So that's the kind of way I look at it there. All right. Can we see more at $80 plus? That's going to be tough. I mean, it's, what is that? 20 some odd dollars right now, right? Where's Mara at? Let me look at it here. Can't remember all these guys' stock prices as it is. Mara's at, $20, 1997 more or less right now. That'd be a 4X on it. I'm not counting it out, but I would be happy if it does at least like a 2X. Bitcoin goes to 200,000. I'd be happy with that. I could do more than that, and it probably should do more than that because of their valuation of HODL and everything else. They're not being really valued on that anyways right now. They're undervalued from where they should be. So I'd say it's possible. How likely is it though? I don't know. Right? That's the big question there. All right. Neil Hayes, I got a question here. Will you get any more CEOs to come on your channel? I might. I think I'll maybe start trying to do that in the fall and in the winter times when you can't do anything outside, right? Right now, it's just so nice outside. I want to spend the time with my family and be on bike rides and playing outside. I don't want to commit to something like I don't want to commit to and then, regret it later on that I didn't spend the time with my family here. So I think once we get into fall, weather's much crappier. You don't want to be outside anyways. I'll see if I can get some CEOs at that point and bring them on here. All right. John Silk's got a question here. Does either treasury companies get to use FSB rules on earnings? Oh, that is a good question. I would think so because the FSB rules is on, I don't know if it's just for Bitcoin or crypto in general, that if you have cryptocurrencies, if you market them, I'll have to look into that. That's a good question there. I don't know, but I think it might be the case. All right. Is Canon miner in the United States? Canon, I believe, gosh, where are they located at? I probably should know this, but I don't. Let me see, where do I have them in here? I got them on the small miner side of things here. Let's see if we can look them up together here really quick. So Canon, let's take a look at their financials here. Is it going to work for me? Yeah. All right. Let's see. The company was founded by, and it's headquartered in so it's Singapore. They might have some Bitcoin mining operations where they're hosted or self-mined in the United States. That I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know where their locations are at. So I do not know on that one right now. So, but they are Singapore based. All right, let's go back here. All right, Marcus says, Bitfarms is going up even when Riot is selling. They are actually doing good. And it could be also that Riot pauses at times of selling to let the stock breathe a little bit and actually go up. But yeah, I think, they should be valued higher than where they are right now. Howard says, we've been up and down so many times past 2 years. Isn't too soon to exit now. I can't take in another downturn for miners. Your thoughts? If you can't stomach it, yeah, you probably want to get out, right? Because we may have another downturn potentially when Bitcoin gets to like maybe 150,000, 140,000, something like that. We could see another correction where Bitcoin goes down, 15, 20, 30% or something like that. The miners are going to probably do a lot worse at that point if that's going to be the case. Historically, at least that's what they have done. So if you can't stomach that, or you can't have, or you don't have powder to add more into it potentially to lower your costs on it, then yeah, maybe exit out, right? It is very volatile here. It's not easy to be in these miners. L says miners move at end of the cycle. Possible pullback first. Mara going to 50.80. Riot 30.50. Okay, so we got a mega bull here. That's nice. All right. Neville says, I think Bitfarms will have a great near-term future given the cycle, but once the cycle is done, it will be hell before they see any awesome future. Not financial advice. Okay. Again, if they get an HBCI deal or something like that, future might be brighter on the other side of this, right? We'll have to wait and see. Jackie says, yeah, Canon is a Singapore company there. Also, Riot should be done with selling by September. I wouldn't be surprised if they're at 5% by August. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens there. Right? Do they pause for a little bit? We don't know the timing of when they're going to be selling or how often they're selling. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see when that comes out. TradeWiki says, should we trust Canon? I have not seen any signs why you would not trust them. At least from what I've seen here, just doing some light research on them. I haven't seen anything that would give me like a red flag, at least right now. Neville says, the lower Riot stake, the more Bitfarms can move, which is why I think they've been showing some strength today, or some strength in general. Yes, yeah, that should help out there, right? Getting them off their back is going to definitely be a good thing for them. Daniel, question, do you think the BTC miners will have that typical run up like they did at the beginning of 2021? I think we will have a quick 3 to 5x from current levels for most of them by end of October. That's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Between 2 and 4x to maybe 2 and 5x, something like that. I think we should have that. It's not going to be the same that we saw in 2021. 2021, some of these guys had massive runs, right? If you're counting from the bottom to the top, like I said before, Mara was up like 70x. Riot was up 40x. Who else was in that boat after that? That was quite high. Gosh, I'm trying to think. There was a couple other ones that were quite high as well, but not as high as the 40. They were like in the 30s, 20s. But yeah, I still think we should see at least a 2 to 5x somewhere on these guys here. Let's see. Daniel says they'll run sharply, but lower percentage gain magnitude. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, John Kurtz, crypto total market cap continues higher. The next few months for all crypto will be incredible. I believe that too. I think that's going to be the case. Let's see, Get Filler. A rotation for the next cycle, if they're even if there's a next cycle is investing miner before they run up, they get out of them, pull it all into MSTR or IBIT, so you don't have to deal with all the overhead. Yeah, that might be a better way to play it. Get Filler says, get out before the halving. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the halving event is going to have another impact on these guys, regardless if Bitcoin's still continuing to go up here. Let's just say Bitcoin's at like 300,000 by the next halving event, which is like 2.5 years away. These guys will still probably dive, at least 50% because that revenue is just cut in half there overnight on that. Any realistic price targets for IREN? I mean, IREN, I'm thinking somewhere between, right now, on the lower end, $20 to a high of $58, somewhere between there. Right? That's kind of where I would think they would be. Depending where Bitcoin goes, can they get an HPCI deal as well? All that stuff. All right. Roger says, question, if you believe in BTC, why take profits? Because eventually Bitcoin does correct like 30%. And the miners at that point have corrected, at least this time around. When Bitcoin corrected 30%, the miners went down 60, 70%. So that's kind of why you want to take profits maybe, right? Play the small, well, the shorter cycles maybe in Bitcoin, and maybe play it that way instead of holding on like we have been doing, or at least I have been doing. Let's see. Sarah Mellon says, quit the hate. If you're going to hate, who's hating? Nobody's hating here. Or at least I haven't seen it. Let's see here. Silver Moon. On May 27th, SBET went up 433% in one day. Why was that? Can't Cleanspark do that? Was SBET the one that, I don't think SBET was the one that I got in, maybe it was. Tom Lee, right? He, I believe, is the, gosh, what's the word there? He's the board chairman there or something like that. I believe he was given that role, and he invested some money in there. Is that right? Or is that the other company, BMNR? Can't remember. I'm always getting those two mixed up. But yeah, I have no idea if that wasn't Tommy Lee doing it. I have no idea what was the cause for that. But it has corrected since then, right? It was just a huge pump and dump at that point on that one. Let's see. Run. Is IREN a hold now through the bear market with AI play? Well, I would say they would need to have an AI deal in order for it to be a hold. If they don't have a deal, then it's going to go down just like the rest of them, right? You can only hold that carrot over investors for a certain amount of time before they go, okay, yeah, right, where's the deal, right? So that's the way I would at least look at it. All right, me first is a question. Possible weekly cycle low, 22nd this month. Sell some miners now and buy back lower before the blow off top. Okay, so let me see. Possible weekly cycle low, the 22nd, so that's next week. Sell some miners now and buy. All right. We'll keep an eye on that, see if you're right. Gap fillers. As miners were supposed to be the moon, and actually it was every other treasury. They all had bigger this cycle, holding this for over a year, waiting right now, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I've been in these guys since, when did I start buying into them? 2022, right? Somewhere early 2022 is when I started buying into them because I didn't know where they were going to bottom out. But I knew they were going to bottom out with Bitcoin eventually, and then they're going to start going up here. So if your dollar cost averaged, you're probably still pretty good. I'm up on Cleanspark right now, 147%. On IREN, I'm up 130, I think it was 131 today, % on that one as well. Bitfarms, I'm in the red a little bit right now. And Mara, I'm up 40% on Mara because I bought Mara like a couple of months ago, which is a little bit of shares. I think I got 140 shares there. So it depends on when you got into them and all that stuff. But yeah, right. Cycle is weird this time around. It's different. That's why we're saying it might be an extended cycle. And we'll see where they go. As long as you're in the green and you got in at a pretty good time frame or good position times, then you're still probably doing pretty good here. But people that got into them at higher prices at Cleanspark at $24, something like that, yeah, you're probably not too happy right now. I totally understand that. And I've done that in the past with other things as well. All right, Daniel, other than the BTC miners that should run a big, are you owning anything else? I am riding the Ethereum catch up with Ethereum U, ETH X2, SBET, BTCS, BTBT, and UPXI Solana Treasury play. I am not playing anything else. All my cash is in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners right now as it is. I may, when I have a little cash here, maybe next week or the week following, I'll maybe put into something on the Ethereum just for what if, right? If it does run up, great, I'll make some money on it. And if it doesn't, it'll be, I shouldn't at least lose money, I would think. When is miners earnings report? Well, we got news that Riot is reporting end of this month here, July 31st, I believe it is. And then we have also Hut 8 reporting on the 7th, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, 7th or 6th on that one. And then Cypher's reporting also on the, somewhere around there as well. So we got a couple of those coming up here pretty soon. All right, LB says, hi, Sebastian. From what I see, Hive has the most upside potential. Do you agree? Based on where they are valued right now, right, and their growth going to 25 exahash, I would think that as well. The only issue is here, historically, they have not gotten the love from investors or from FOMO, from retail as well. And the only reason I can think of is, well, they're not. They don't have any operations in the United States. All their operations are in Canada and like Iceland, Greenland, and Argentina and Paraguay. There is some obviously risk to those countries, right? Because they could flip on a dime basically, and you just never know what's going to happen there. So I think that's why it's being discounted a little bit there because of those things. If they have more operations in the United States, I think that would maybe be a better outcome for them. And that's kind of why we saw Bitfarms transition from selling their sites in Paraguay to Hive actually, and moving more into the United States, buying out Stronghold as well, and moving in that direction. So I think they kind of understood that as well. And we'll see if that works out, right? Can Bitfarms do better here than Hive has? Because both of these guys historically have not downgrade, and they were both Canadian miners there. All right, let's see. Larry says, I'm writing for the long run with IREN. I'm up $40. I'm $40.50, okay, by the end of the year. So kind of where I am with it as well on the higher end side of things. Roger, why not buy MicroStrategy? Nobody can have as much BTC. Yes, but then again, how much of a multiple should MicroStrategy get on the Bitcoin that they own there, right? Should they get a 2x multiple on the HODL position, or should they only get like 1.2 or 1.15 or 1.05? I think when Bitcoin's going up, you can definitely get a higher multiple, but once that catches up, you got to kind of come down here. And I think that's kind of what we saw here last year with it, where it peaked in November, I think it was, at like $540. Then it came back down to like $200 some odd dollars. At that point, I was looking at it, I'm like, this thing is just way overvalued. It's going to correct. And sure enough, it happened, right? The multiple that we were seeing on there was just insane. So right now, I mean, MicroStrategy has been accumulating also a bunch of Bitcoin here over the last, I would say, 6 months, 9 months. And the stock price is actually now starting to kind of lift back up a little bit. But it hasn't done that great where we thought it would. Let's see, Gap Filler says MicroStrategy is the play long term. Yeah, and then again, what kind of multiple will it get? Sauer says MicroStrategy is overvalued, so we have two views on that. Roger says MicroStrategy was the play this cycle, beat everyone. To date, yes, but not everyone. I think I have that chart here where we can see here. I think IREN actually beat them out. I think. Let me take a look at it here. Let me see here. Price. Let's take a look at. Oh, I don't have. I probably should include strategy here. I don't have strategy in here, but I have price difference from the beginning of the bear market or the end of the bear market, which was basically end of December of 2022 and January of 2023. IREN right now is up 1,416%. I don't know where. Strategy is up from this point, from that point at least. Let's take a look at it, see if we can find that. Let me see here. Go there. I'm going to close this. All right, let's take a look at it here. Strategy. Where's strategy? Strategy is up here. Let's see where they bottomed out at. Where was this? August 2024. All right, we might have to go into like the weekly chart here to see where we are at. This is 24 as well, 23, January. Okay, so right there, that's kind of where we bottomed out. Okay, then it probably has outperformed it because it was like $13 or something like that. Let's see here. Where was it? $13 something, and it's had a huge run up here. Right now, yeah, it's 3,000. Okay, so it has outperformed IREN. So you are right. MicroStrategy has outperformed these guys here. But again, where will we be in the next 6 months, right? We're seeing that some of the miners are outperforming even MicroStrategy in the last couple of months. We'll see if that continues as well going forward here. So we'll see. Right, the cycle's not over yet. Typically, the cycle will be over by like October, November, December timeframe. This year, if we had a regular cycle, but we don't have a regular cycle as it is. All right, let's go back here. Okay, Jackie says Tom Lee is with Bitmine. Thank you, Bitmine. Okay, so BMNR. Yeah, so I was getting those two confused there. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Exactly, Mr. Lubin with SBET. Okay. Roger, S&P 500 also corrected. If you held long term, it was better than trying to time the drawdowns. I would agree with you, right? Holding long term, investing long term is much better than trying to time the markets in general. Trying to time the tops and the bottoms, right? Just buying in is a much better way to go. Let's see. Jackie says Peter Thiel announced a 9% in BMNR. I saw that too. I should probably put that out for you guys too. I forgot to mark it today. But yeah, I saw that as well, that he's buying into it. And I think that's because I think he might be friends with Tom Lee there as well. All right, what else we got here? Unknown has a question. What's top 3 miners ranked with highest conviction, highest upside potential from current levels? Based on operations and things like that, I would think it would be Cleanspark, IREN, Cypher maybe in there, and then you could possibly toss in Mawson and Riot at the end there as well. But Cleanspark and IREN are like my top 2 that I would think. Cypher, I think also has really good growth here happening going forward. I would think that one might perform pretty well. But then again, Cypher has potential for HPCI, and so does IREN as well, right? All right. Let's see. Mortim says, supposedly Trump will open the $9 trillion retirement market to crypto. Also, it now seems more likely. Don't you think that the strategic reserve will become real? We're getting there, right? And I think that would, man, I don't know about the retirement account. I think for that one, you don't want people going in 100% YOLOing into it. You want them to be diversified in the portfolio account for the most part. So I think there should be some limits on it as far as how much you can invest in crypto. But that's just my thinking on it. Let's see. Okay. What do you think about Powell being referred to the DOJ for fraud investigations? I have not seen that, so that is news to me. I've seen some stuff about the building that they're building. That's like, what was the cost of it? I thought I saw something like $9,000 per square foot or something like that. They're spending like $2 billion to renovate or build a building for them. That just seems ridiculous to me. Let's see. Roger says, Galaxy is a good Ethereum play. They hold a lot along with BTC. It's done very well. Galaxy is a great company. I mean, they do a lot of different services in the crypto space. So I have no qualms with that one. Mortem, Seb, you might be too pessimistic. Trump is setting this up for a gigantic run through executive orders, legislation, and SEC positioning. And you might be right. Maybe I am being gotten a little bit more pessimistic here, or at least sandbagging the pricing on things, right? Definitely would love to see these things run for you guys and for myself as well. But we shall see. The stuff that's happening right now in the background, right? All that stuff, I love what I'm seeing here, and we'll see where it goes from here. All right. Unknown says, thanks for the answer. What about most undervalued? I mean, most undervalued right now, it's Bitfarms and Hive, as it is. Those two are the most undervalued, in my opinion. But can they get the love from investors, right? That's the big question there. All right. Ron says, thanks for the answer on my IREN question. You're very welcome. And it looks like I've caught up to all your guys' questions here. So I think we're going to call it a day. We're going on almost an hour. Yeah, so we'll see where tomorrow leaves us with as far as Bitcoin price, miners price, everything else. And we'll see also if Trump has signed the Genius Act and the Clarity Act as well on that one. And yeah, we'll see where Bitcoin is at that point as well. So that is it. As always, thank you so much for coming in. Greatly appreciate you guys. Love you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. Tomorrow we'll do a stream again and we'll see where things end up at. But man, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. So thank you again. I'll see you guys tomorrow.